Katie here from the Scrappy Sisters, and I am up today with the 12x12 layout. I am starting with some mixed media, which is a bit unusual for me. I've actually already put some gesso on this page, and I am using my Colour Blast colour sprays, which I've had in my collection for ages. I think they're an Australian company, and they are also, I also got them in the Cuteholic kits. I've got 4 different ones. I've got 3 colour sprays and 1 colour shimmer spray, and I've got like what colour are they? Let's have a look. I've got a bubblegum, which is like a pink. I've got an indigo, which is a purpley blue. I've got sunset, which is an orangey colour, and then I've got stormy weather, which is the shimmer spray, and it's like a grey. To be honest, when I'm looking at them on the page, the only ones you can really see are the indigo, the purple, and the bubblegum pink colour. The orange just looks pink, and the stormy weather one, it's really subtle and pretty in the background because it is a shimmer. It looks like it's going on really dark here, but once it dries, it's very light, and you can't really tell that it's much of a grey. It just adds a really sort of subtle shimmer in the background. And then I am flicking on a little bit more colour because I didn't think it was vibrant enough, particularly the pink. And then I tried for the orange, and as I was flicking it, I thought, oh, this is just going to look like pink, so it probably doesn't matter. And then I did add some Heidi Swap Colour Shine in gold. I've sort of nearly finished it, and I was sort of using it sparingly and holding off, but I'm kind of at that point now where I'm like, well, actually, I really like it, so I want to use it up. And so I'm going to try and use it up. I'm going to try and use a bit more of my stuff this year, because as you well know, we're having a baby. I don't know when this video is going to go up, but as of filming and voiceovering this, it's only the 12th of January, and I'm not due until the 8th of Feb, so I've got 4 more weeks left, or well, who knows how much time I have left, but 4 more weeks until my official due date. And so I'm probably not going to spend too much money on scrapbooking supplies this year because I'll be on maternity leave, so I won't have a lot of money coming in. And I've got so much stuff that I'm just going to try and use a little bit of what I have at home. Am I still going to buy things? Absolutely. I'm not going to go on a year-long spending freeze or anything like that because that is unrealistic for me. But I am just going to try and use what I have and not sort of go too crazy. Over Christmas, as you know, if you watched our scrapbooking, our Scrappy Advent Calendar series, you know Jess got me a whole heap of new baby related sort of scrapbooking supplies, which will be cool to use in my little album. So yeah, that's exciting that I've got some of that baby stuff to play around with when he arrives. So I should probably talk you through the layout. You will have probably seen these photos before. Again, reoccurring theme lately. I am scrapping photos that my sister has definitely also included in her album. These photos in particular, she definitely included in her album because they are the first time that Jack is meeting Tom, his new baby brother. So as you well know, I babysat Jack while my sister and her husband went into hospital to have Tom. And so I was obviously there, and I took him around the next morning to visit his new little baby brother. So it was actually really wonderful to see that for the first time. I said to Jess that I didn't have to be there because that was a special moment for her to share with her family, but she was fine for me to be there. And in the end, it was good because I got to take a few of these really candid photos that I think she appreciated. So I couldn't choose which photo I wanted to include, so I included all of them. And they're obviously all of the same thing, so I thought I would make a layout with all the 4 photos together. And then, as you can see from the page, I'm making a grid style layout, and that's sort of my focus. I've done this actual kind of layout many times before. It's not a new style for me. I quite like the grid kind of style, particularly when I've got 4 photos. This is often, I guess, the format that I revert back to. I am using a bit of a DIY kit. I made a whole heap of kits to take with me to a, what do you call them? I was about to say an expo, but it's not an expo, a crop, scrapbooking crop. And I haven't pulled the kits apart, and I went to the crop in August last year. And so I'm just trying to go through them and use them up because I really liked the kits. I mean, I put them together, but I'd like to use up all the bits and pieces before I sort of put them back into my stash. So again, trying to focus on using up my things. And so that's what I'm doing. And I've got I think I've got about 4 or 5 sort of kits that I made up, mini kits, but they can all make quite a few layouts. So yeah, just working with this one. It's nearly finished, so I don't have a lot of paper left, but I had a lot of ephemera left, so just using up what I can, really. So I'm creating kind of clusters, I guess, or layers on the 4 photos, just sticking some of those things down now. I had some really big ephemera pieces that I wasn't sure how I was going to use. I can't remember what the ephemera collections are. Hang on, it's Pink Paisley. One of them is the Turn the Page, and some of the other ephemera actually came from the Pink Paisley Turn the Page and Pink Paisley Moonstruck. So I know Moonstruck is an older collection, but I think Turn the Page came out in 2018. I could be wrong, maybe it was 2017. But it doesn't feel as old as what Moonstruck does. And I know I picked up the Moonstruck ephemera on sale because I don't actually have any of the papers that match. But I have a few of the papers from the Turn the Page collection and whatnot. So I just, created a few page kits, put a few bits and pieces together. And for some reason I ended up with 2 ephemera packs from Turn the Page. So, I've got doubles of a few things. So I'm creating some clusters. I'm using, as I said, some of the bigger ephemera pieces to layer behind my photos. I wanted to get a few key things on the page. So the frame that I just stuck down says "loving this," and I thought, that was a very appropriate sentiment, and I wanted to get that on the page. And then there was a couple of other bits of ephemera. The star I just moved off the page there on the top right. That actually says "change is good," and I thought that was relevant because obviously this is a big change in the lives of my sister and her husband and her eldest son. And then down the bottom, the cluster I'm working on now, I wanted to layer a few tags up. The geometric tag with a lot of gold on it, I can't remember what the ephemera piece said, but it wasn't relevant. But the other little square ephemera piece that I wanted to use says "I believe in the good things coming," which again I thought was super cute and relevant, and I wanted to get that on the page. So I created that little cluster sort of down in the bottom left with tags and ephemera pieces laid on top of each other. So this is a little bit of a hodgepodge layout, but I actually really like how it turned out. It's a bit different for me putting, so much onto the page, but again, using up my stuff, trying to be creative. So I'm really happy with how it turned out. It took me probably half an hour to do, not including the mixed media part. I did the mixed media part last night because I wanted to let it dry overnight, not having to use my heat tool because I don't like how it curls the page up too much when you put heat on it. And then I put the layout together this morning. So very happy about that, and happy with how it all came together. I did have an idea in my head. I wasn't sort of, I guess, coming from nothing, but I just knew that I wanted to create layer and colour and fun and bright and, I guess echoing the happiness of the occasion. So you can see me now, I'm committing to where I'm putting my photo. So I've stuck one down, I think, the bottom left, pretty sure I've stuck that down. And then I'm looking at how I want the other photos to sit, and then sort of committing to having a couple popped up and a couple stuck flat down, and how that's all sort of going to work. So going through now and seeing the other bits and pieces that I have. I had these sticker sheets. I'll see where I've got, I can't remember. I feel like it's a Maggie Holmes sticker sheet, but I think I threw out the pack. Oh, is it this one? Maggie Holmes crepe paper, maybe from Carousel. Yeah, from Carousel. And so they were they are, they're like a, what do you call them? Clear sticker, but they're not clear. That really doesn't make any sense, does it? They're pink and teal, and with gold, the words are written in gold, but they're sort of see-through, a bit see-through. So they're like a clear sticker, but they've got a tint. And so I wanted to use up those. I'm, again, trying to use things up. And so I layered, they had 4 labels in each, the pink and the teal colour. So I layered them just as a layering piece under the photos. And I think that works well. You just see them peeking through. Happy with how that looked in the final layout. I didn't realise, because I did this one last, that they are the exact same label piece. I didn't love how that looked, and I was trying to fix it, but in the end I couldn't. I just lived with it and stuck it down. So in the end I was sort of messing around with cutting it in half and trying to get it to look different, but I just embraced it, stuck it down, went with it, didn't overthink it. So I'm unsure about that title. I was going to use the title called Everyday Moments, but I'm not sure, so I've moved it off the page, and I'm going to just commit to sticking down my photos. And then I remembered I wanted to add, here's me going, wait, I wanted to add twine into the tag, and so I've gone off to get the twine. I'm just beside my desk, and I pulled out this gold, kind of more like a thicker twine. I don't know what it's called. It's not really a twine. It's not a ribbon either. I don't know what it is. But anyway, it's quite thick. And so I'm putting that into the tag. So I've got a tag in the top right, and I've got 2 tags in the bottom left. So I do add that twine to all of them. And then sticking them down. Sort of, I'm not lining them up. You know me. I don't line things up. I just eyeball it. But I am trying to get them, as straight as I can with eyeballing. And I think, looking at it later and looking at it now while I'm doing this voiceover and the image I can see on the screen, it looks pretty close. So yeah, happy with that. So I'm adding the twine to the 2 tags down the bottom, but they are a little bit fiddly. Also, again, if you've watched my videos for a while, you might remember in a few of my December videos I was wearing a brace on my right hand. I got carpal tunnel, or I have carpal tunnel, and it's a pregnancy thing. It can happen for people in pregnancy. But what's happening to me now is my fingers in my right hand are quite numb. And I'm finding it a little bit tricky to grip things and be what's the word? Have any dexterity in my sort of fine motor skills on my right hand side. So that is making things a bit tricky. I have been to see people, physio, osteo, whatnot. There's not much I can do about it because it's caused by a fluid buildup, which happens when you are pregnant. And so you just have to wait till the baby arrives and the fluid dissipates, which can take, for those of you that have had children, you will know, that doesn't happen straight away. It can take a little bit of time after the baby arrives for that fluid to kind of leave your body. So I am hoping for some relief once the baby's born, but I think it might take a little bit of time for that to happen. In the meantime, I'm just getting kind of massage on it just to try and keep the fluid sort of from getting too built up. But it does get uncomfortable, particularly overnight and first thing in the morning. Anyway, that's a little, not a whinge, but just a little update of what's happening in the life of my pregnancy. As really, though, all things considered, that's probably, the most I've had to put up with, which is not a lot when it comes to other things that can happen in pregnancy. I've been very lucky. So finishing off this layout, we're nearly at the end. I am just adding some tiny words. Again, these were from the Maggie Holmes carousel sticker sheet that I had. So I think all the sentiments work really well. They say things like best friends and dream big and hello and on top of the world, celebrate, so sweet, delightful, yay. And those kind of sentiments. And I think they worked well. I would have put them all on the page if I thought that I could get away with it because, trying to use them up. As it is, I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tiny word stickers left, and then this sticker sheet will be completely used up. But it just wasn't really appropriate to stick them all down, and I didn't. So I will try to use them on another layout very soon. This is the point where I've decided, no, I'm not going to use everyday moments. I went through my thicker phrase stickers, and I found this one, which is an adventure one. What was it called? It was from Let's Go. The stickers were called Let's Go. And so it's an adventure theme, kind of travel theme. But I liked this sentiment that said take it in, because I really felt like that's what Jack was doing, taking it all in. And then we're done. That's the end. I add a few of the stars, from that thicker sheet as well, just because the gold was a little different than the other gold and I just wanted to sort of tie it in. So I added 3 stars and then we're done. I'll show you the close-ups, and that is the end of this layout. I hope you've liked this video. We will see you in the next one, and have a great day. Bye, guys.